Good afternoon everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day on the 27th of March 2025. Just wanted to do another little update on Mr. Kencon for crying vagina Clarke. Now it appears that John was contacted by David Fisher, who's a veteran reporter for the NZ Herald. David asked for any information and I gave him practically everything I have. I supplied a Google Drive link and clearly he's had fun with it. David's story got published 2 days ago on the 25th in the New Zealand Herald. Unfortunately though, it was only online, which means if you wanted to read it, you actually had to be a subscriber. You had to pay I think it's $6 for the first month at the Herald, which I'll of course be unsubscribing as soon as I've finished with, because they do automatically renew, which means you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So yeah, I'll be unsubscribing, but for purposes of getting David's story, I signed up and got to see it. So I've captured it all for all of you wonderful people out there, so you don't have to pay. And I'm just going to give you a quick read of it, and we'll take it from there. Now it starts off with like I say, this is on the 25th of March at 5 AM it was released. Duval's Kenyon Clarke, accused of grabbing phone, later found in swimming pool, could face private criminal prosecution. There's no fucking could about it. The filings have already been done. I've got copies of them. Where it's being held up is at the judge's desk, because apparently judges get to decide whether or not you meet the standard for a criminal prosecution to go ahead. And as I said last year, John already did that on the 8th of August with another gentleman. So yeah, we're starting to get used to doing these private prosecutions. So when Johnny chased it up a couple of days ago with the registrar at Auckland District Court, she said it's been, strangely enough, it's been placed as urgency in front of a judge's nose to sign off on it or not. Kind of strange how all of a sudden, after being filed for a few weeks, the documents that John filed have all of a sudden magically appeared on a judge's desk the same day that a report on Kenyon Clarke and the matter at hand is released in public view. So for matters of public interest, if nothing else, this prosecution should go ahead. But we'll see just how corrupt the judicial system is, and whether or not John's going to be able to get it through. If not, questions must be asked. Why are the police not pursuing it? But then there's other things the police have done that I'm going to bring to your attention as well. So, and again, yeah, David Fisher, so that's the first page. We'll click on to the next one. It says, car dealer John Murphy, I'll just check that's the right page. Yeah, car dealer John Murphy claims Kenyon Clarke grabbed his phone off him after he took photos of the property developer in the street. Let's have a quick look at the Herald's video, which they used of my footage, and see what they have to say about it. Here's that video now.
What's your name? What's your name?
Okay, so reading on the story that you're going to pay for. Murphy claims police returned the phone waterlogged and told him it had been recovered from Clarke's pool. Wonder how it got there if he didn't steal it. and attempt to permanently deprive him of it by dumping it in fucking water. I wonder if that meets the criminal standard. But we'll move on. Murphy says he is moving to bring a private criminal prosecution against Clarke for theft and intentional damage. And so he bloody well should too. Good on you, Johnny. Now, Clarke told the Herald he is laughing my arse off. So Clarke's response to being threatened with a private criminal prosecution for him stealing someone's property in the street was to laugh his arse off. I wonder if he's laughing his arse off over the $300+ million that he owes all of his 150 investors. Is he laughing his arse off about his business being under review and in receivership? Is he? No, I was. Moving on. Not, of course, not for the investors, but for the fact that it couldn't happen to a nicer person. Car dealer John Murphy says he has filed papers with the Auckland District Court seeking the registrar's approval to take a private criminal prosecution against Duval founder Kenyon Clarke. Now, seeking the registrar's approval, normally a registrar would look at the filings and give a yay or nay, but of course, because of this, it seems to be now under a judge's nose on the judge's desk. Registrar could have said yay or no, but no, for some reason they're playing it close to doing everything properly. Bit late for that personally, but the charges listed in the documents are theft and intentional damage. Murphy claims Clarke grabbed and stole his iPhone 15, which he says police told him was recovered by the police in the Duval's founder's swimming pool. The alleged incident occurred at about 4 p.m. on Monday the 17th of February 2025, beginning with a standoff between Clarke and Murphy. There was no standoff. John's sitting in his car taking a few photos. Clarke came over, smacked him in the side of the head and fucking took his phone. Then lied to the police saying he hadn't, which is making a false statement to police. Then threw it in the swimming pool, which the police then recovered and then chose to no further actions will be taken. I wonder if he'd taken one of the police's cell phones and thrown the police officer's cell phone in the pool, would no further actions be taken? Or is it just because it's John? Moving on, the alleged, where were we? Beginning with the standoff between Clarke and Murphy, who had used his mobile phone to take photographs of the beleaguered property developer outside Clarke's rented home in the affluent Auckland suburb of Remuera. Well, the affluency's gone down a bit now that you've got con artists like that moving into it. I went, oi, oi, smile, smile. Then I started taking his picture, car dealer John Murphy. At the time, police confirmed they had responded to a disorder incident involving two parties on Victoria Avenue. There were no injuries. One person was taken into custody at the time. However, they have been released without charge, police said on the day. Yeah, that ugly mug there with his wife beating fucking t-shirt on. Wouldn't be surprised if he does. Still, just speculation. Alleged. When alerted to the potential criminal prosecution by the Herald, Clarke burst out laughing and said the move by Murphy was tiny against the scale of other challenges he was facing. Well, if they're tiny, why don't you just pay John for the phone that you completely fucked up, or at least pay for the repairs? It was almost $1,000 in repairs, Kenyon. If it's so insignificant and so small, why did you go and attack a guy for taking your photograph in a public place? If it's that insignificant, I'm sure it is insignificant compared to the $350 million that you owe everybody else, but John wants his $1,000, or his 900 and whatever it cost him to get it fixed. And if he has to take you through a criminal prosecution where you then get, a record for assault and intentional damage, sure, go right ahead. Again, small things, but it doesn't mean just because it's small you get to ignore it. You've got a 600 million business in statutory management and unprintable expletives, said Clarke. Now, 600 million. Talk about over-exaggerating. In August, the government took the rare step of placing Duval Group in statutory management. Cabinet appointed statutory managers and receivers, PwC, said in March that the businesses in the Duval Group owed an estimated $306 million. And if you want to see that story, you could either, on the same day that this was released in the Herald, and by the Herald I mean online in the Herald, because the same day I went and bought the newsprint for it, this is from the 25th of March, because I wanted to see if the people online that are getting to read this stuff because they've been fucking, you know, extorted money to read about a story, if they actually bothered to put it in your $4.70 copy of the Herald. And the answer is, no, they fucking didn't. They haven't released it in the Herald. And in fact, the only thing in the Herald is right in the middle page here, where it goes, property group Duval's debt balloons to $306 million, new report says. Okay, so that's on, what page? It's on page A16 in the Herald. It's in the middle centre, where you take up that other shit rag magazine that they always slap in there. So yeah, property group Duval. It's been a long time since I've bought a newspaper, I've got to admit. But yeah, that's all they've got in there. So in other words, the Herald just copied Stuff's article from the 21st about Duval owing over $300 million. But, you know, these things happen. Moving on, the guy's a total weirdo. He tried to run me over, Clarke told the Herald. The guy's a total expletive, a total weirdo. I believe the expletive was fuckwit. He tried to run me over. Murphy denies this. No, because he didn't. After he had his phone, he pulled out from where he was. He pulled into his driveway, which is the lovely photo shown of John's car at Duval's gate, where he's pulled in. His driver's doors are open, so I don't know how he's expected to run someone over when he's not in the car. And he got out of his car and just asked for his cell phone back. And it didn't happen. Alright? There was no attempting to run anyone over. Again, more lies from Duval. You must understand, from a classic narcissist like Kencon fucking crying vagina, it's always someone else's fault. Him having to get up and have a shit at 3 o'clock in the morning is someone else's fault. Probably the chef that cooked the curry that made him have to get up at 3 in the morning. You know, whereas most people like myself are self-governing. Government doesn't tell me when to get up and have a shit in the morning. My bowels do. Government has no involvement whatsoever. Just putting that out there. Moving on. Asked if the phone wound up in the pool, Clarke said, who knows where the phone is? I don't give a expletive. He doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a fuck. Why would he? You know? It's small fries assaulting people and stealing their property. Shit, he's done that on a multi-million dollar scale. Why would stealing someone's cell phone for them doing a perfectly lawful activity in public? I refer you to Section 14 of the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act. But why would you? Clarke said he was unaware Murphy had been charged. Oh, yeah, that's right. Clarke said he was unaware Murphy had been charged. He said the police had told him at the time they were going to pick Murphy up. Or were they? For what? Because when they showed up to drop off John's phone, it certainly didn't look like they were there to pick him up from anything. John hadn't fallen over, didn't need help getting up, so... He said police had told him at the time, pick him up, that Murphy was already facing charges and he had breached his bail. So why the fuck are they telling a possible offender that his victim was on bail conditions and was facing charges? What Privacy Act, where in the Privacy Act or the Policing Act does it say that the police can go ahead and inform a crying vagina that the guy that he's just assaulted and stolen property from is already on charges? What does one thing have to do with the other? Why are New Zealand police breaching fucking privacy by informing assaulters and thieves that someone's already up on charges? The person you just assaulted, oh no, he's a baddie. Does that mean we can just line up everybody on charges, which I might point out are only allegations until they're convicted? Should we just line up everybody up on charges and assault them? You know? robbed them. Does that mean it's okay? You know, should we just line them all up and let us know? No. And the reason why the cop that said that to Duval that day is because it's the same biased, fucking unimpartial fucking cop that returned his phone, that was called to another incident where he had arrested John. Can you smell the bias over another false allegation? You know? Would you like it if you're on charges and the cops go and tell someone who just comes up and assaults you, oh, they're on charges, it's all right, we won't take any further action, he's the bad guy, even though he's the victim? I don't think so. Moving on. Murphy denies breaching bail. It's because he didn't fucking breach bail. So now we've got the police lying to offenders, alleged fucking offenders, about other people. In what world is that okay, guys? There's a lovely photo of John. In the papers filed to Auckland District Court dated 28th of February, Murphy said he took a series of photographs of Clarke after seeing him leave the boutique Victoria Ave butchery. The papers claimed Clarke then reached in through my wound down driver's side window and snatched my iPhone 15 out of my hands before walking to his home. The act of snatching the phone out of my hands was recorded in a short video.
What's your name? What's your name?
The act of snatching the phone out of my hands was recorded in a short video to be included as evidence. Prior to the proposed defendant snatching the phone out of my hand, it was fully operational with no fully operable with no water damage, the paper says. Okay, well that's what John says. Well, that's what the papers say. In other words, what John's sworn testimony says. Murphy told the Herald he had recognised Clarke on the street and thought, there's Kenyon Clarke, I'll get a photo of him for my mates. Perfectly okay. Sure, paparazzi do it all the time. He claimed he shouted to Clarke's attention, I went, oi, oi, smile, smile. Then I started taking his picture. Then I was probably a bit stupid. I allowed him to walk over to me. At that point, he grabs my camera/phone and walked off across the road. So I followed him across the road in my car, or in the car, and asked him to give it back, which is supported by all of the evidence. A witness in the butchery told the Herald she heard someone yelling and looked up in the time to see a car screech into Clarke's driveway as the property developer was trying to get through his own gate. Oh, really? Screeched. Well, then, of course, there should be CCTV footage of all of this, then, shouldn't there? I mean, this is a very affluent part of Remuera. There's got to be fucking dash cams and CCTV on all of these properties. So where is it? Where's the footage of this? Where's anything to back up someone's interpretation or subjective opinion of what happened that day? A guy was yelling. A guy was yelling and going off his rocker, she said. Then there's cops with guns and dogs and tasers. Gee, I wonder if they'd approach anyone else that's had their phone stolen. I wonder if they'd, approach the assailant with all of that sort of get-up. Why the overuse of police resources for a disorder incident that they were called to between two individuals? Moving on. That was the moment Clarke was handcuffed and placed in the back of a police car for a short period of time. The witness said it seemed like the photographer, Murphy, had been in place for some time and would have seen Clarke walk into the butchery. We all thought it looked staged, she said. It just looked like a setup. Murphy said, I certainly wasn't up there trying to hunt the prick down. I wasn't stalking him. I knew nothing about him until that day. Murphy told the Herald that a few weeks later, police brought him his phone. Oh, sorry, a few weeks later? No, it was that same day. A few hours later, the police brought him his phone saying it had been recovered from Clarke's pool. I said, are you going to charge him? And they said, you can't go around taking photos of people. So that's what the police said. Even though on the police's own website, they say it's perfectly legal to take photographs of people in public without consent. So, again, perhaps some more police training needs to be introduced. I said, it looks like I'm going to have to charge him myself. Murphy said he turned the recovered phone on, saw the photos were still on it, then plugged it in only to have it shut down. He claims he then found water inside the cover. Yep. The iPhone 15 has an ingress protection rating of 68, meaning it is water resistant but not waterproof. The phone is supposed to withstand being submerged at 1.5 metres for about 30 minutes. Murphy said he took the phone to 2 repair shops, both of which told him it was water damaged. He said the second repair shop was able to repair the phone at a cost of $919.43. Just mere chicken feed for someone like Duval. Oh, fucking crying vagina. He should, I mean, that's just got to be something out of his pocket money, surely. But no, cops are failing in their duties, breaching privacy, not doing the job properly, letting a stark raving alleged offender who robs and assaults people off the hook. Why? Because it's John. That's why. Anyone else? Although I bet if that was an affluent Remuerite, there'd be charges laid. Or could it be they're not laying charges because they've got him on much bigger fucking fish to fry with Kencon vagina? So perhaps that's why. Perhaps that's why they don't want to pursue him for something so pitiful and, you know, tiny compared to the 600 million or 302 that he owes. Who knows? The figures are bouncing out there. It's a hell of a lot of fucking money. Murphy confirmed he was on bail at the time of the incident, having been charged with threatening to kill someone. Yep. And that's going to be in court very shortly. I'll be there with John with bells and whistles on to assist him, because I happen to be John's very handy support person. He said he expected to successfully defend the case, because we've got video, and nowhere does he say he's going to kill anyone, which is still to be heard. He said he had not breached bail. I've been on bail for various charges for the last 12 years, and I've won every court case, he said, and which is true. Clarke asked for comment on the prospect of a private prosecution, said, you can report I laughed my ass off. So that was his official comment. Clarke asked for a comment on the prospect of a private prosecution and said, you can report I laughed my ass off. So that's his official statement, that he laughed his ass off. A spokesperson for police said the initial decision not to lay charges was currently under review. No shit. Since this date, complaints have now been made by both parties involving in this matter. These involve allegations of willful damage and harassment. Really? So who's harassing who? Has John, 2 or more times within the last 12 months, done something that gives you cause to fear for your safety or the safety of your property or families? And is it your property if it's in receivership? I don't think so. I think it's everybody else's stuff that you're living off of, quite frankly, vagina. Oh, sorry, I meant Kencon. Since, where are we? At the time when the incident was first reported to police, a decision was initially made to take no further action. The matter is under review at present. David Fisher is based in Northland and has worked as a journalist for more than 30 years, winning multiple journalism awards, including being twice named Reporter of the Year and being selected as one of a small number of Wolfson Press Fellows to the Wolfson College, Cambridge. He joined the Herald in 2004, some 21 years ago. Way to go, David. Alright, so that's the story. So, what's coming out lately then is that the police are breaching privacy, informing offenders of what their victims' legal status is. That's a no-no. They still haven't done their job properly, although it's under review. Well done. How long will it take for that review to happen? And are the police and the Ministry of Justice working together on this one? If it's before a judge, John was told 2 days ago it was before the judge and he should have an answer by the end of the afternoon. Still nothing 3 days later. Could it be that the police and the MOJ are deciding what to do with this? Is John's civil right to file a private prosecution against an alleged offender being pissed all over by the police and the Ministry of Justice? Because the police will tell you till the cows come home, we're the only ones that can lay criminal charges, when people that are actually a little bit clued on and aren't just sheep and of the tax cattle know better. Anyway guys, that's the end of it for me. I'll catch you all later. Bye now.